Hello, everyone. I welcome you all once again to my channel. For the people who don't know me, this is Anjali. I've secured an All India rank 25 in the last NEET PG and All India rank 16 in the November INICET. It is the last 30 days to INICET, and 90% of people ruin this. And this is because most of the times we just know what is the right way of doing things. But the most important thing that is required is to know what is the wrong way of doing those things. And this video is particularly dedicated to know those wrong things that we haven't or we shouldn't do it at this particular point of time. I have done some of those mistakes in my May and I attempt, and I just corrected those things and I was able to secure a good rank out of it. And I also want you all to just do not repeat those mistakes as I have did and waste off your times. So the first very important thing is not switching to new sources. And I think this is the most important statement to be made right now. In my May and ICET attempt, this is a very personal thing because I myself have done this mistake. In my last INI attempt in the last 1.5 months, I was a bit of like I had my GT scores doing really well. I was under 50 ranks in any platform GT per se, and it just created a FOMO inside me that I should try new things right now because INI is something of a very big examination. They might ask anything, and I should be prepared with all the kind of stuffs they have previously asked or may have not previously asked, but it's written in some other platforms. It's going to be really important for us. And I messed with and I started looking out for things which were really not necessary that moment. And this was the first mistake I did, which dragged my rank. So I do not want you to push into any new thing at this particular point of time. You're already acclimatized to the kind of sources you have been previously using, and they are important. They are very good as a source. They are up to the mark which is required. See, the amount of information that is needed for the examination is very vast. You cannot accumulate that amount of information right now, right at this point of time. And even if you were 1 year back, you wouldn't have been able to do it because there are many other important things that needs to be done before those things. So abhi to we have to focus only on those things which are really, really extremely important, and nothing new has to be added. Please, I'm reiterating this fact once again because I myself have done the mistake and I do not want you all to repeat the same. So the most important thing, not switching to any new revision sources, not looking for things which are not there in your notes and which are there in your friends' notes, not hearing the advices of people who say ki INI is going to have new questions, you should focus on new things which are there on other platforms. No, you do not have to. Do not try to remember the stuffs which haven't been previously asked and is written in your notes for the sake of doing it. Just do only those things right now which have been previously asked, which are considered to be important in the perspective of INICET. You need to try the things. This is the way your approach has to be in the last 1 month, right? The second important thing is giving what should be the number of GTs that should be given right now. I feel many of the people who say ki give 7 to 8 GTs. This is I personally feel this is not physiological. This is not in terms of reality, and many people don't choose to give GTs. Like in my May attempt, this was the second mistake I did, was that I wasn't giving GTs. I felt ki I have already given many GTs in the last 1.5 years, so giving GTs at this point of time doesn't make a difference. But giving GTs at this point of time does make a difference. You need to understand the time management, you need to understand the approach, you need to understand the lacunae you have while attempting the questions, you need to understand the amount it is taken by you to attempt new questions, you need to understand that you need to have 5 minutes ka time at the end to revisit the questions, so that even if those questions were easy, the silly mistakes of not reading the last line or may or not, which is going to change your rank a vast bit of difference, right? Anna is known for it, like a point difference, and your ranks go multiplied by 10. So I want you should give GTs. The GTs should not exceed more than 4 per month. I think 4 is enough in the month. 3 to 4 is a good number. But I think don't just be like, you shouldn't give GTs. You should give GTs at this point of time to actually understand ki, yeah, this is important for me and this is the way I have to balance my time and this is the time I'm taking on such things. And whenever I get stuck, this is the only amount of time I have to stipulate to that question. And otherwise, I have to just move on to the next part. Right? Now, the next very important thing is not disturbing your physiological needs. There are certain things which has to be taken off at this very important, crucial point of time. Like your physiological needs are very important, and the most important thing is the sleep cycle and the food cycle. Your food cycle has to be really important. You need amino acids, you need nutrition for your brain to act, you need your brain to act for those synaptical neuronal connections to be working very, very efficiently at this point of time for your division to be up to the mark. You getting me? Right? अभी रिविजन करना is very important. अभी रिविजन को समझना is very important, and for that you need to take care of your sleep cycle. I would suggest कि have 6 to 8 hours of sleep cycle at this time. Do not just bush into 17 to 18 hours of hectic schedule for reading stuffs. Right? The next most important thing is the practice of MCQs. This was again the mistake I did in my May INI attempt. I felt I've already done so many amount of MCQs before, and by not doing MCQs at this point of time wouldn't make a difference. I already know the approach, I already know the time I take in the MCQs, but this was wrong. I mean, I have to develop a reflex which is very active in the last months of the examination. And for that, you need to practice 100 MCQs every single day. And I've also reiterated this fact many a times in my previous videos as well. Ki out of the 100 questions, it is 50 questions of the PYQs, 50 questions of the new back for your synaptic connections to really work. See, sometimes you need that continuous stimulation for your brain to be really active. And if you just dump it off in the last 1 month or 1.5 months, how is it going to be beneficial to you? Are you getting me? So, this is very important. You need to practice MCQs every day for your reflexes to work on, because ANI is known for like 100 questions would be definitely out of the topics they have previously asked. They're not going to change it. Just thoda sa घुमाएंगे, thoda sa there would be twisting, and they are done. But there would be 50 to 60 questions which are going to be a part of new thing, although being from a topic which is previously asked, but asked in a different manner at that time. Although you have that content of source in your mind, that is going to form the base of your preparation. But added up to that is your MCQ skill that works. Anna is known for testing your MCQ skills. Do you get it? And that comes with rapidly solving multiple MCQs every day. I get this comment many a time from people ki, ma'am, I've already done my main notebooks. I have also made my revision notes, my 20th notebook. Everything is done perfectly. And still I'm not able to solve the MCQs. I know the content source is not that, my memory is not that good enough, but I still not able to perform in the MCQs. That is because you have lack of practice of the MCQs. By practicing the MCQs, you get an approach. Sometimes you don't know the question, but you get to feel like this is AFib only they're talking about. This is the condition they're mostly going to talk about AFib as a condition. I hope you are kind of relating to what I'm trying to tell you, that you need to practice MCQs really, really very importantly at this point of time. Right? And at the last, the most important thing is the practicing of the BYQs. This is the most important thing. I think it's a benchmark line which I have always retreated in my previous videos itself, that INICT without PYQs is non-doable. Even if you have read Dobbins, Lippincott, Harper, Guyton, Ginong, Love and Bailey, any other textbook in the entire world, if you haven't gone through the PYQs of the INICET, it's not gonna make any difference into your performance strategy, in your performance results. I hope you're getting it, because once you go through the PYQs wala section, once you've already done the PYQs, you'll get the difference that I am so much in love with the PYQs they have previously asked. And this is kind of in favor of ours, because if you know the PYQs, if you know the four options, if you know everything around the topic, this is gonna give you fetch around 120 to 130 questions at your hands. The rest 70 questions we don't care, but those 120 to 150 questions which are going to be in our hands are from the sets of the questions that they have previously asked. Do you get me on this? And I do not want you all to repeat this mistake of mine, which I already did before. In fact, There's also one more thing that many students do, that previously, for example, I did the PYQs, so now I won't repeat it because I already have done the PYQs and I remember the content, but that is not the case. In fact, in a November attempt, I just did it in my last 15 days itself, the entire 10 years ka PYQs, and still at the day of examination, there was one HBSC AG vaccination question I still remember, and I was confused on the same options which I was confused while giving the GTs in my Marrow. So can you gauge the difference? And that's why I usually say people that allot the last 5 days to the PYQ book that you have created for the wrong questions, for the skipped questions, and for the questions that you guessed correctly. That is very important because there will be 7 to 8 questions, exact replica from the previous ones, and they are going to save your time. They're going to give you the fetch you the marks, which is going to be really easy. You don't have to put an extra effort into that, right? So PYQs are very important and I is not doable without it. NEET may it is very difficult on the part that NEET is gonna be superficial, touching each and every part, but INI is known for touching only those questions which it had previously asked. It's gonna be bushing everything around it only, right? So all the very best. I know the last months are very crucial. The ifs and buts phenomena. I think I'm very glad right now that I'm not through that phase, because that phase is, I still remember, very much doubtful of yourself. But I think you just imagine me and just keep going, that after a month or so, you'll be at my place. And looking back towards your hardships, towards your hard work, would make you feel like, yeah, I did it, I did something for myself, and would be coming out of the flying colors you always wish to be. So, all the very best. Take care of everything. Note down these 5 points really rigorously. Please take it to your heart when I say that these mistakes hasn't to be repeated again. And hopefully, I see you all to the other side. And please do let me know your comments and please let me know your doubts. I'll be really glad to help you. So, thank you and bye bye and take care.